Hey, how's it going, guys? MrBossFTW here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about 10 plus tips and tricks that you might not have known about regarding the Smuggler's Run update, including some secret details, hidden features, and a whole lot more. So with out of the way, let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into it. The first tip today is going to be telling you how you can get around the waiting time for sourcing the same cargo. So you guys know in the Smuggler's Run update, it actually gives you the option to choose what sort of thing you want to source. And the best items are narcotics, chemicals, and medical supplies. And you actually get a bonus if you source a full amount of one supply rather than a lot amounts of a couple supplies. So the only downside with that is after you source one, there is a waiting time. It's about 6 to 7 minutes, which is a lot. 6 to 7 minutes is not a great use of time just to be sitting there waiting for this to basically restart. However, what you can do is simply join another session and that time will go away. Now, the one thing you do want to do is make sure you have your spawn location set to your hangar. And if you do that, it shouldn't take you longer than 30 or 45 seconds to get into the new lobby, about 15 seconds to sit back down at your computer, and then boom, you're ready to go and you're ready to do another sourcing mission without having to wait that 6 to 7 minutes. So in the grand scheme of things, it's likely going to save you around 5 minutes in total, but that's actually pretty awesome. And that adds up sale after sale and source mission after source mission if you're able to save 5 minutes each time, which will increase your productivity and will also increase the amount of money you're going to make doing these sourcing and selling missions via the hangar stuff. So that's pretty cool. All right, the next thing that's pretty interesting is, did you know that the two new types of helmets that were added in this update are both bulletproof? So that, in my opinion, is pretty awesome. So the two helmets we're talking about are the flight helmets and then also the combat helmets, the variant that has night vision and the variant that has the thermal vision too. They're all bulletproof helmets. So for the longest time, only the bulletproof helmets offered something like this, but now these two types of helmets do as well, along with the other features that they provide, like the night vision or the thermal vision. But this is pretty cool too. So I got some of my friends to just shoot me in the head a couple times and I ended up surviving, which is pretty unique. So even if you don't love the look of these helmets or you don't like the functionality, well, just know that they're bullet resistant too, and you can survive 1 to 2 bullets. I think the flight helmet ended up taking 2 bullets before I died, and the combat helmet was only 1. Now, that might have been an anomaly. You can do your own test, but it does offer some bullet resistance, which is actually really cool. Something I had no idea for a week that these helmets even provided. Now, you could ask yourself, does that justify the very expensive price of them now? Well, possibly, but it is a nice feature that was added to both versions of these helmets. All right, moving on. Our third tip today, in my opinion, is kind of an overlooked feature, and it is the flight formation. So the flight formation is kind of the air version of the MC riding formation. And basically how you activate this is you go to your SecuroServe CEO menu, and then you go to management and you activate flying formation. Now, once you do this, couple things happen. Number one, you're going to see a larger circle spawn around your little tiny circle. So if other planes are in this, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, they are going to match the speed of your plane. So for example, this can lead to some pretty funny situations. I was flying the new V-65 Molotov fighter jet, and my friend had the Cuban 800, which is like a crop dusting plane or a flying plane like that. So my plane is quicker, much faster, but because he was stuck in the flying formation, it automatically matched his speed to mine. So it's really funny to see a really slow plane like the Cuban 800 flying exactly as fast as my plane. I thought that that was pretty cool. But also a nice bonus of the formation will give you a health benefit. It will also replenish your health, armor, and the biggest part of it all is it will actually repair your airplane. So if your aircrafts or your helicopters have been damaged, well, guess what? Just get in the flying formation. It will literally heal itself. So if you've lost an engine or you only have 2 on one side or 2 on the other side, get in a formation and you'll suddenly see your vehicle self-repairing itself, which is incredibly cool. So I don't see a lot of people using this, and I definitely think you should, as it's one of the most beneficial things you can do, not only for your aircrafts, but for your characters themselves in terms of staying alive and being able to fight off other players or enemies or anything like that. Okay, this next thing is pretty cool. It was actually something I saw on Reddit from a user, Jason Stanfield, who posted a map of all the personal aircraft spawn locations. So you guys know with the brand new vehicle feature, you can request an aircraft to spawn at your feet. Well, that would be ideal, but sometimes it doesn't spawn at your feet. Sometimes it spawns, on another runway or another part of the map. Well, this might actually explain why. So he says that this is not 100% complete, and these are just a handful of the locations that he's found so far, and I will leave a link to it in the description. Now, according to him, it seems as if all the spawn points at Los Santos International Airport are only available if you own a hangar there. So that might explain why some people have been having a lot of trouble getting their aircraft to spawn at that location as compared to some of the others. And for the most part, they only seem to spawn on big enough roads or isolated areas where you could either take off from or you could have enough space to kind of fly away. So as you can tell, there's not a ton in the city. Obviously not a ton where the mountains are and stuff like that. So I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. I think it is very, very useful, especially if you're in an area where you might not think your plane can spawn next to you, or you might be in a place where it can literally spawn at your feet. So I think that's a pretty great thing to know, and it could be very useful for missions or free mode or whatever the case is. Okay, up next, these are two cool features that I didn't know actually happen inside of the hangars themselves. So number one is the fact that there is dynamic blinds. I know, that's pretty exciting. Now, I didn't even know this was the case, but when you spawn in your hangar, you'll actually spawn in your bedroom. Now, during the daytime, the blinds are actually open, and you can see throughout the hangar, you can see your planes and everything like that. And if you go into your office as well, you'll notice that it kind of functions the exact same way. All of the blinds are open. However, once it becomes nighttime, and I'm not exactly sure the specific times in which something like this occurs. Someone on Twitter pointed this out to me, and I thought that it was very cool. A user, David James. So this is like brand new to me, but at nighttime, the blinds will actually close. And then from the inside of your bedroom in there, your living quarters, you actually can't see out into the hangar. So I thought that that was pretty unique and pretty interesting. And if you actually go inside of your office, they will always remain open. I guess that makes sense. You're always working no matter what time of the day it is. But regardless, I thought that was pretty cool, dynamic feature of the hangars that you might not have known about. So that, in my opinion, is pretty awesome. And another cool thing, in a previous tips and tricks video, we've talked about how there's a sniper and there's a homing launcher that spawns up in the rafters. Well, there's also a parachute right outside of one of your offices. So I think you get a parachute getting into the planes themselves, but if you ever wanted an extra one, well, you can always get one as it spawns literally right outside your office. So there should be no excuse for you to never have a parachute. And if you don't want to get in one of your planes, this is a way in which you can get one pretty instantly and free as well, which again is another great feature of the hangars. All right, so I saw this pretty interesting rumor floating around, and that was the fact that the Starling could actually dive underwater and then come back out and be totally fine. So I wanted to test this out for myself because I thought that would be pretty unique if you could dive into the water with the Starling and then kind of use the rocket thruster to come out. And while you can dive under, use the thrusters to get yourself back out, once the plane goes under the water, it will be automatically destroyed. So even though I didn't just start sinking to the bottom of the ocean like most planes, I did kind of like flutter up a little bit. The engines are completely dead. You can't use the rocket thrusters once you actually engage in diving into the water. So unfortunately, the Starling doesn't have dolphin-like abilities where it can dive under and come out pretty majestically. My plane died. So don't try and do this with the Starling. It does not have any submersible underwater features, or can't even go under the water briefly and then come back out. It is going to have the engine break down. All right, our next tip and trick is actually pretty cool. Basically, you need to take one of the new items from Smuggler's Run, the thermal vision helmet, and you need to pair that with the oppressor. If you activate this while riding the oppressor, you'll essentially be able to see anyone, whether they're off the radar or whether they're in a vehicle in the sky, because the thermal vision is so great at pointing out players. So you can activate it, you can turn it on or off if you need to land. Now, it is a little bit tricky but I did think that this was a pretty cool use of the oppressor and the thermal helmet, basically being able to find targets pretty easily. Honestly, I felt like the Predator on this thing. And it's kind of weird. You can like see people in apartment buildings. You can see people that are flying around that you typically wouldn't have been able to see. This works better at nighttime, I feel like, in my opinion. You just kind of need to be careful about buildings because obviously you won't be able to really see those. And then when you're trying to land and get more boost, you probably want to turn it on and off. And you can do that using the right button on the D-pad. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about are a couple things. Those first of which are the secret targeted sales. So once again, these only happen to a certain percentage of the player base. The first of those targeted sales is for the Debauchee Spectre, which instead of being $600,000 is $450,000. That's an awesome Benny's sports car. The next one that's on sale is the Pegassi Infernus Classic. So its price is now $686,000. That came in Cunning Stunt Special Vehicle Circuit. After that, we stay on Legendary Motorsports with the Progen Tyrus. Its new price is $1,912,000. That's a vehicle from Cunning Stunts, a supercar. And the last vehicle that is on sale is the Declasse Drift Tampa, which is now basically $750,000 at $750,000. That vehicle coming from Cunning Stunts as well. So it's basically just 4 vehicles that are on sale this week. Those are the secret sales, and that is it. And the last thing Rockstar is doing, they're continuing to give out free money and some shark card sales as well for certain individuals, like 40% more, some that are lasting through September 7th, some that are lasting through September 8th. Other players are getting $300,000 back, $400,000 back, etc. So that's kind of the last kind of interesting thing that's going on right now in online. But anyways, that's all the information I've got for you guys in this video today. 10 plus tips and tricks that you might not have known about in the Smuggler's Run update. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have anything more to add, any more secret features or hidden details that I could feature in another video. Let us know in the comment section down below or reach out to me on Twitter. If you guys did go and enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.